Hey there everyone, this is the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage and I'm making a new video. Haven't made one in a while, probably in a few weeks now. I think I got that right. And I am going to be talking about the latest machine that I'm going to be putting up on Craigslist. Now this is the machine you're looking at is a Singer 66. And the Singer 66 was in production a long time. They first started building it in the year 1900. That's how old it is. I think I mentioned this in some of my other Singer 66 videos. This machine particularly is the 1950s version. You know, sometimes they would change the decals or the look of the machine on the outside. At some point in the history, they added back tacking. So in addition to your stitch length control here, you have the ability to go backwards and do some reverse stitching. But this machine is a straight stitch machine, and you've seen me do a number of videos on these before where I've actually done upgrades to the machine. And when I say upgrades, I've basically done things to increase the piercing power. Now, when you see that, you might think, well, maybe they needed it. No. This machine is incredibly strong and powerful on its own. In fact, it was sold to people, very often people would sew everything from, feed sacks and heavy drapery and upholstery to baby clothes. And so it could do an amazing number of sewing projects in the home. The reason I have done power upgrades to some of the other 66s I've had is largely because I'm creating a special machine, or a hot rod, if you will, for people who need an industrial, but they don't want to buy an industrial, and the closest I can create to an industrial is a modified 66. Well, when I got this machine, its condition, its paint is so gorgeous. All machines have scuffs and nicks in their paint. It would be almost unheard of for them not to, and this one has a few. But the lacquer on this machine has an incredible level of shine. It was kept in a case, and you often, if you're going to see a machine that has really good aesthetics, particularly in black lacquered Singers, you will often find that these were machines that were kept in carrying cases. And this one comes with I don't know if you guys can see it there, it comes with the bent wood Singer case. And I believe I also have a key for this one, so you can lock it if you want. But this machine has gone through the restoration process that all of my machines go through. The biggest difference is that I decided to keep it, what you might call it, stock, if you think about the hot rodding of cars and how they get modified, because I did not want to modify this one. And for what it's worth, I do my own heavy sewing on a Singer 66 that's also a Centennial. This one has the Centennial badge. And so for those of you who collect machines, this one is somewhat more collectible than the others. It's the same machine, just it has the special badge. And you'll know those badges because they have like a blue ring on them. But anyway, I sew my own projects, sometimes some really heavy stuff, on basically a Singer 66 with the original Singer motor and with no real modifications. Of course, I've restored it. So make no mistake, this machine is a beast in its own right. And unless you're going to be sewing heavy sunbrella and marine upholstery, the bimini tops that go onto boats, unless you're doing really special work like that, a standard 66 is just fine. So don't think because this one's not been modified, it's not strong. It will chomp through most materials that new machines won't. The other thing I wanted to demonstrate for all of you is that I often show heavy fabrics, and I'm going to show you some today when I demonstrate this machine, but I also wanted to do a little bit of somewhat lightweight fabric. This is not delicate really, but this is a lightweight linen that I've got here, and I've adjusted the pressure on my presser bar. And now my needle is a size 16 needle because I'm going to do some heavy fabrics here in a minute. And I keep promising I'm going to do more videos with delicate fabrics for those of you who like to sew light. Because keep in mind, all of these machines that I'm showing to you and I'm putting on Craigslist, they can sew delicate fabrics. They were actually designed to do both delicate and heavy stuff, which is part of the thing that's so amazing about them, I think. But anyway, you have bobbin winder on the front. You have tension, thread tension adjustment up here. This is the upper assembly. It's incredibly easy to thread, and I think because I've got a pink thread, you can probably see the thread path. It's real simple. And anyway, without further rambling, I'm going to start to do a little sewing here. And notice I can really get my needle to slow down at a really fairly slow pace here. Singers are known for that. Singers were engineered to be able to sew slower than most machines. And of course, it can also go fast. And I can definitely, you'll see as it comes down here, yeah, I can definitely rev it up and go higher at a higher speed if I wanted to. And I'm going to come back, and this time I'll come over and I'm going to shorten my stitch length so you guys can see that it also does a really nice short stitch. The 66 is one of the very first sewing machines that ever basically had a reputation for a very consistent straight lock stitch. Machines before that varied in terms of how true the straight stitching was. Sorry guys, had to grab my scissors. I didn't bring my scissors out here. So, let's take a look. We've got, you're going to see the pink, see how this looks on the lighting in here. We've got a lot of bright sunlight today. See if I can. The main purpose of these videos is to let you see the stitch quality, so I really want that to show. There you go, and you'll see both long, and then you see the short. There we go. Really, really nice stitches here. And let's see, we'll do, these are the white, the stitches on the back side, let's see, stitches on the back side are white thread. So I'll go ahead and double this. This is 4 layers of linen. It's nothing for a machine of this caliber. Let's see. Come over on this far side so we know which row which row of stitches is new. Of course, I'll back tack there so you can see that. Let's come over and we'll do one more row, and then I'm going to go back to a longer length stitch. Oh, I'm already in there now. Let's see. Most of these machines, by the way, have little thread cutters on the back. It's my own habit. I like scissors and thread snips better. So let's take a look and see what we got. So you'll see, now I've got these 2 rows here, the most recent rows I did. Again, that's with 4 layers. And then you'll see the, on the other side, well, sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus for you. So again, that's lighter weight fabric, okay? That's fairly lightweight linen. So you guys can see that you certainly can and should sew lightweight material on these machines that I always call beasts. So now I'm going to go over, and for those of you who may have been looking for a machine that's really strong and heavy duty, and maybe you saw one of my modified Singer 66s and thought, well, gosh, I got to have one of those. Before you decide you need one, let me show you the power of this machine, because I'm going to, again, I've got that 16 size needle. So I've got part of my cargo pant here, or cargo shorts. So you've got, sort of a medium weight cotton, but then you've got this heavy seam. This is actually, I think, the cuff. This is the hem of the cuff. And then I'm going to take yet another layer of it and show you that that's sort of the thick seam of that cargo pant. So I'm going to do a layer of that. And let's see, here we go. And then here's another part of the cargo pant, and it's going to actually have the pocket. When you go through a pocket, those of you who've ever sewn anything like this, you got 1, 2, 3, and then it's doubled over. So you've got almost 6 layers in this alone. This is their pocket layer. So I'm going to take all of these, and we're going to see what the standard 66 is capable of. I think you'll find that this machine is really strong, and You do not have to have a modified machine. Usually when customers tell me, I ask them a lot of questions sometimes about, what they're going to be sewing. And when they tell me, I can usually kind of help guide them and help them figure out which machine would be best for them. And that's usually the easiest way to tell. So, okay, 1, 2, I'm going to guess 6. There's probably 8 or 9 layers total when you count all of the folds in this, but let's see what it will do. The great thing about vintage machines, because they are analog, and this is not a jeans needle, by the way. I would really want a jeans needle. Okay, so I've got my needle down. And I can even back tack at this level. And I'll tell you what, I'll come over and make it come over crosswise. And, to go through this kind of fabric and the machine doesn't even complain. Now, denim is a little denser, and it will do, I've done up to 9 layers of denim on these 66s. You definitely want a jeans needle in those situations. And there you have it, guys. Look at that. I mean, that's not only that, but the machine doesn't really complain. It's not like it's not as if it's saying, "Oh, I don't want to sew that." And last but not least, now I've done this before. This is, let's see, 1, 2. I think I've got 1, 2. Yeah, 4 layers of leather here. This is garment leather, but it's 4 layers. Now, I do not have a leather tip needle in here, so let's try it. The machine may fuss at me because it really prefers leather tip needles when you're doing something like this, but we'll see. I've got pink thread, and what I was going to say about any kind of analog non-computer machine is it speaks to you. And so if the machine doesn't want to do this, it's going to tell me pretty quickly. It'll fuss and complain. I'm going to put a little more pressure back down there. And currently feeding this with again, this is a universal needle, size 16. It's an Oregon brand needle. And even without the leather tip needle, which I really recommend that you use, that's incredible power, right? And the white stitches will be hard to tell on this side because I already had white thread here. But my point here is that this machine is really strong. It will sew most of the things you want to sew with it. And it has, like I say, its aesthetics are probably, and on a scale of 1 to 10, this machine is easily a 9, 9.2, maybe 9.5, depending on your interpretation. But again, the aesthetics, the nice shine in the paint and the lacquer, that doesn't necessarily mean that the machine sews better than one that looks all beat up. I've seen machines that were really in rough aesthetic shape that sewed great. But this machine was definitely cared for all its life, and it was a joy to restore. You still need to restore a machine even when it looks pretty on the outside, because I found a lot of times when you go inside, the machines still need the attention of a restoration this is 1950, 51, right? So it's up there in years, and it needed a full going over. But now it's ready. If any of you would like to set up a time to come and see it, you can set up arrange a time with me, and we'll have you sew on it, or I can demonstrate it for you. This machine will fit in any of the vintage Singer cabinets. So you have a carrying case, but if you would like a Singer table, I can be on the lookout for one for you, or you can find one. They're very easy to find. The easiest sewing table in the world to find is one that fits a Singer from this generation. They were made in very big numbers. But anyway, thanks for watching, folks. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know. Thanks.